Ladies and gentlemen, Zach is back on the channel. Now, he was in Vegas actually at the game, so this is going to be fun to talk about just where we are with this defensive tackle room. Zach, I'm glad you're back. I'm coming in hot, not wasting any time. Zach, I went through some rosters. The only team who may have a better defensive tackle room than you is the team you play on Sunday. Everybody else, I gotta say, really watching the tape, I get it, it's the Raiders. But when you really look at the tape and how these guys are gonna win with a Quinnen Williams who just got off the plane and the way that he played, Zach, am I crazy to think that the Cowboys have the best defensive tackle room in the NFL?
I don't think you're crazy. I don't. Not with Quinnen Williams, because Kenny Clark is a guy that got paid by Green Bay. He got a lot of money. Like, you look at the numbers, like Green Bay wanted to keep him around until that Micah deal. And Dallas obviously wanted a defensive tackle. Now, he couldn't do it on his own. Osa Odigizua he got paid too. He's up in that $20 million range. Quinnen Williams has been an All-Pro, a 3-time Pro Bowler. Like, you start pulling those accolades together and putting those guys on the field together, they have one of the best defensive tackle rooms in the league. Now, you can start pitting it up against Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and I don't even know the other guys. That's just the two.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah,
the two main guys that the Eagles have. And it seems crazy to say, because how long has it been since we've never talked about the Cowboys having one of the best defensive tackle rooms in the league? Then you get Quinnen Williams. You see what he does on Sunday or Monday night. And then Kenny Clark had a fantastic game just from the TV copy. So, I don't think it's crazy.
Zach, I welcomed you back with a fastball, man. I'm glad that you're back. I'm glad that we're back on the channel. We'll be doing Fansided tomorrow. We're here today, just kind of sneaking in some content, talking about the defensive tackle room, because I think there's a world where I don't want to gloss over just how good this group and this unit could be. And I don't know if they'll all three be on the team next year, but I will say it would be nice. I don't know how all this is going to work. You obviously have to pay Pickens. You obviously need to think about, at least have the thought about bringing Kenny Clark back, because I want to start there. Kenny Clark at a true 3, when I watched the tape, it literally just looked different. Like the space, having Quinnen and Kenny out there, those sets, those reps, you could feel the pressure as far as the A gap not being able to step up. I underestimated Quinnen is really good versus the run. Like, that's going to be his calling card. And we'll talk about how that affects this game coming up this Sunday, because I think a lot of people are missing why Philly's offense isn't as good. But Quinnen was really good as a pass rusher. And I don't know if that's because Kenny has been playing so much and he was pushing the pocket, some of the things they were doing, but like his pass rush sets were great. Zach, I want to ask you this. Deployment wise, you're over there and you're Aaron White Cotton. You say, yeah, you know what, Osa, we paid you, but I'm looking at it and our best deployment needs to be Q and Kenny. What are you thinking, Zach? What's the talks?
I'm 100% in on that. It's like, you have to just put the best guys on the field. However you're going to do that, especially on the interior, it's going to have to be Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, because I did watch, before I got on the plane yesterday, I watched the TV copy from the game. Yeah. And Kenny Clark consistently flashed, like you said, like he was rushing the passer well, playing the run well. Quinnen Williams, like, just the Geno, you could tell, was getting more uncomfortable as the game went on, as the pocket started to collapse up front. I know they paid Osa, and you know what's kind of nice, because I think that they all make the same amount of money. Quinnen's obviously going to be on the field. He's the best of those three guys. But you can't say, okay, well, we paid Osa, so he's got to be out there on the field. You can literally put the best two guys. You could even rush Osa off the edge at times. But like, those are the best two guys, Kenny and Quinnen, and Osa, let him do his thing as the game goes on. I really just think you got to get your best players on the field.
No, I couldn't agree more, Zach. And I'll tell you this: Osa has some really nice reps, and I think it's because Osa was sitting on the sideline. And when you're sitting on the sideline and you're a great player, you come in with a different mentality. I've come at Osa. He's been up and down this year, and it's honestly been more down. You bring that guy in, you bring Q in, now all of a sudden everybody looks a little different. And that's what an all-pro player, that's what a great player can do for you. And you know, A got pressure, not being able to get anything from C to C because you have that under control and you see the growth of Donovan as a rocker, as a run blocker. You see the reps that Jadeveon Clowney is giving you as a pass rusher and a run, not run blocker, excuse me, his run defenses and his runs defensed. It's interesting because the younger me, man, get sacks, get around the edge, do the things, right, Zach? Now you start to see how much and how different it is when you could just bull rush guys, when you can walk guards back into the quarterback's lap. And this isn't to act like Geno Smith and the Raiders have some great offense, but I do think that this carries.
Yep.
Do you think that this carries, Zach, for the rest of the season?
100%. As long as those edges are playing sound and not getting out of their rushing lanes, and you're pushing the front of the pocket like that. There was a couple throws in that game that Geno had to make where the center and the guards are in his lap, and you just can't step into the throw. Or if you step up and try to slide over, that's when you get those cleanup sacks by the edges that are also getting pressure. But Geno did a lot of that, like stepping off his back foot and just trying to get the ball out because he literally can't step up. And any quarterback, it doesn't matter who it is, if they can't step into it and they can't square their shoulders, that's where you start seeing the throws that, like that interception, or they just get, it's not how they throw the football. And it just the tiniest mistake can lead to those turnovers. I think it carries. I mean, maybe Mahomes, it's like, okay, that's a guy that can make off platform throws consistently, but most quarterbacks are going to struggle when the interior of the line is getting mauled up front.
Yeah. Like you said, you can't step up. Your footwork is all over the place. Balls are spraying everywhere. Pause that. Footballs are spraying everywhere. But, it's interesting. All right, so transitioning to this Eagles game, and the reason why I want to do this topic is transition to this Eagles game. I think that there is one thing that a lot of fans, mainstream media is not talking about, and it's you can take advantage of this Eagles offensive line. So I got a few numbers. Right now, to me, the real reason why the Eagles aren't having success is because 3.9 per rush, 115 yards rushing, and per game, that's 17th in the league. 3.9 is really low. It's like it's not great at all. And a lot of those rushes are too hurt scrambling, so he bumps some of that up. I say that to say right now the Cowboys' strength is going to play into the Eagles' weakness. And oh, by the way, Lane Johnson may not be there. When I said this carry, Zach, and we talk about Eagles week, and we'll obviously do some more work over on Fansided, you made a great point that I don't want to steal from you. So you said something about the first game that I wanted you to kind of talk through.
The Cowboys stopped the Eagles' run game without Quinnen Williams, with a first game, Jay Toia and Kenny Clark just getting there 4 or 5 days beforehand or a week beforehand or whatever.
Such a
like
great point.
that group, like just compare that week 1 game to this one, and then look at what the Eagles, I think they had, it was something crazy, like 5 rushing yards, 7 rushing yards, might even been as low as 2 in the second half. Like it was insane. Barkley had nothing on the ground. And talking about the Eagles run game and how it suffered this year, a lot of their struggles, and Eagles fans hate to hear it, but it's because Jalen Hurts can't play under center. It has to be out of the shotgun. So they're running a lot of RPO stuff, a lot of inside zone stuff, and it just isn't working with those guys up front and Saquon Barkley in particular. And they just haven't had the juice that they did over the past couple of years, or last year with Saquon. So we were talking about it pre-show. Like, if you're going to beat the Eagles, I would rather just Hurts sit back there, not die by a million paper cuts like we have in the past with run games, but let Hurts get into these 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 situations and make him beat you. And I think for the Cowboys defense, good things will happen.
Yeah, I think at this time last year, Saquon had already had about maybe 1,200 rushing yards. He's at half of that. He's at half of that, and it shows. And I think that one of the things that the Eagles, brash and you know fans and even fans of the sport, they're like, oh, well, the receiving game and the passing game. Well, it's not that. They literally can't run the ball. The run designs are lazy. Nobody's really buying the RPO stuff that they do in the pull game. And I mean, like guys like Tyler Steen and having Kelsey all those years, literally like a quarterback on the field and a great player. Now the bailout is gone. I always said this, Zach. I said, once that old line starts to slow down, okay, so now Lane Johnson isn't playing, and once they can't just line up and maul people down the field, and the run EPA starts to look a little different, because Saquon Barkley isn't a bad player. Like, he didn't wake up and he's not washed.
Yeah.
What it is those guys aren't getting pushed, and you see it on film. You see it on film. They're duo runs. They're not displacing people. Some of the other designs, when they're pulling around, it's not hitting as fast. The defensive ends, when they do pull, they're just playing it at the point of attack, and they're just making tackles. So I think that, dare I say, the Cowboys have an advantage up front on defense, and it's huge because in this game, when you look at the Eagles' points per game, they're 16th. Yards per game, they're 25th. And you could tell I was ready for this one, Zach. And yards per play, they're 24th. Third downs, 33%, 29th. I'm going to be using these stats all week. If you can get stops, I get that everybody's ready to crown this Eagles defense is great. You're probably 2 CeeDee Lamb drops away from beating that team week 1.
Yep.
I think that the offense on our fast track can make some plays, Zach. How do you feel about that? Like, just being able to just get stops, even if it's not, holding those guys to field goals. What say you that?
I can hear the comment section now saying that it was just the Raiders. The Cowboys just beat the Raiders. The Raiders' offense is bad. The Eagles' offense is bad. Their defense is what has kept them in games and why they're at 8-2. A lot of the reason why, like, you look at where the Eagles rank in the league in EPA per play and yards per game and all that stuff, like, they're right there with the Raiders. Like, do we forget that the Raiders held the Broncos to 10 points but only scored 7? Or that Jalen Hurts had 100 passing yards against the Chiefs? Like this isn't a good offense, and Dallas can take advantage of that. It starts with stopping the run and not giving up big plays. And even in the Raiders game, I know that there were a couple of plays here and there on some play action stuff that they gave up kind of chunk plays. But for the most part, it wasn't a ton of run after catch with that too. So if they didn't have Quinnen and they didn't make these moves and they weren't getting, like, people, dude, you start going down the list of people they've gotten back over the past couple of weeks, like, this is not the same defense. There's like 6 to 8 names. This is not the same defense. If it was, I would be like, okay, well, it's kind of bad versus bad. Like, really anything could happen. I don't really feel that way about the defense now. Now, I don't think they're going to be top 5, but I don't expect them to be bottom 5 either. So if they can get some stops, Cowboys offense, if they can keep rolling with those, with the 2 receivers, like, dude, there's many avenues for Dallas to win this game.
Yeah, you said pre-show, another great point that you made was, like, game 1, I don't know how it's going to look. I don't see a way for the Cowboys to win. This game, I see it. Like, I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed a lock, but I feel like the mojo hearing Dak after the game, like, you see a way where they're going to attack offensively and feel like they're going to get stops. And you said something before we go, Zach. Getting Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson back. I know people don't want to hear that. There's times I've been extremely hard on Donovan Wilson, but the tackling looks so much better. And again, comment section, well, it's the Raiders. Great. I don't care. You weren't tackling against Arizona. You weren't tackling against Carolina. Like, all of these long runs. And this is why I've said, love Wanye, love some of these other guys, Elijah Clark, the stories, right? We fall in love with the stories. And then you watch them play football and they're missing tackles. They're taking bad angles. And it's like, well, that's probably why these guys are 7th round picks. Malik Hooker had a play where he ran the alley, tackle on the backfield on Gentry. It's like, oh, That guy. That's
Yeah.
why it's a difference. It literally is a difference of having a safety who maybe he's not the best safety in the league, but he's above average in my opinion, or right at average. And you needed that with some of these plays. Hey, if it's a catch, cool, get him to the ground. Let's get it to third down. Let's do some of those things. I just read you the third down number. So I'm excited about this game. Zach, do you have any closing thoughts before we go? I want to give this one to the people.
Yeah, I don't think that it's a guaranteed win or anything like that. There's still some stuff defensively that Dallas is going to have to clean up, and it is the Eagles, a rivalry, and all of that. But I really feel like if Dallas loses this one, and we're going to do our post game show like we always do, so make sure you guys are there.
Yeah.
If they do, we're going to be able to look at it and say that's where they beat themselves. That's where they beat themselves. Like here's
Yeah.
the mistakes to kind of lay out why Dallas lost. I can see a world like you said where they win, where the Cowboys get a win, and
Hey,
it starts up front with those defensive tackles.
hey, man. I feel good. We'll
Yep.
listen today to the interviews. We'll see what's going on over there in Cowboy world. But as always, guys, thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing. It's your boy Footsdaking. Zach, thank you for doing this. You guys will see us after the game. We'll be there ready to talk about it. We love you all. Peace. All right, y'all. It's that time of the week. Sleeper. Let's get these plays in because I'm telling y'all, this Thursday night game, it has playoff implications. Like, these are the games that I'm really hype about, and these are the games that I'm just telling y'all, if you stick with me, you can make some money. I'm just saying. So let's look at it. I'm gonna play Josh Allen. Okay, their offense is 1,000% is gonna go through Josh Allen. He's gonna throw for a touchdown. I think I would go Will Anderson more with the sack, especially because of how quirky the Bills play. Like, they'll play well in spurts, then they'll do something crazy, and Will Anderson is really, really good. Ty Johnson over 9 receiving yards. To me, that's a gimme. The way that offensive coordinator uses Ty Johnson, I think I would make that play. Keon Coleman over 24 receiving yards. I feel like they'll make it an emphasis to get him back involved in the offense after he sat. So let's just see what this gets us right here. Let's look at this. $10, that gets you $123. Like, come on. Use this play, report back to this video, and let me know if this works. Sleeper. Make sure that you guys use code FOOTS. Get a bunch of plays. Get some discounts. When you do this, they'll give you free money. Use code FOOTS. It helps me out a lot. Sleeper, thank you for sponsoring this channel.